Fight and Talk back again today. I'm delighted to be joined by UFC Bantamweight Davey Grant ahead of his bout on July the 22nd on the UFC's return to London on the UFC Fight Night Aspinall versus Tybura. Davey Grant will be taking on Daniel Marcos in a bantamweight bout. Davey, back in London. It's been a while since I've had you on the channel. Let's go with that first, man. How are you?
Yes, I'm great. Thanks, Jake. Pleasure to be on again. Thanks for having me.
And look, before we look at this fight coming up, let's go back that fight. Rafael Assunção, absolute legend of the sport. Another one that you pulled out the fire, didn't you? What is it with you in these absolutely amazing fights?
Oh, mate, I don't know. Honestly, I don't plan for them. I want quick knockouts and early finishes. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it just seems to happen all the time. I mean, I'm stoked to get such a finish over such a legend. I mean, I was watching Rafael for a lot of years. He's a veteran of the sport, really tough guy. Hard to go and get a win over, and to win as emphatically as what I did. It was it was fantastic, mate. Just trying to knock off these highlights. It just it seems to be working.
Mate, I feel like this highlight reel is just growing and growing every fight you get now. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely, mate. It's what I always dreamed of. What I knew I was capable of. It's just honestly, I'm just absolutely living the dream with it, to be honest.
So if we look, I know you're back home now, I guess, for this fight, but your training camp certainly hasn't been. You've been away, You've been in Thailand, you've been in the USA at Syndicate. What was your decision behind going away for this camp and splitting it between them two gyms?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I've been going away for the last few fights now, and I just prefer it to get away from the stress of normal life. I know a lot of people have done it in the past and stuff, and when I've got the gym to run and things like that, it makes it hard. You know, on a night I'm just concentrating on other people's training rather than my own. So I felt like I just need to get away. I went over to. It was a long camp, this one. I've had 12 weeks to find out, and I've been in training all the way through this year. Anyway, I never really the Assunção fight was a short notice fight, so it wasn't really a hard camp, you know. And the fight, I didn't really get too banged up in it, so I was back training the next week. So it was just all just sort of part of the camp. So halfway through, I thought I'll have a sort of a training holiday at Thailand. So I was still out sightseeing and stuff like that, not just and training twice a day. So it was like a nice little holiday. Broke up the monotonous of camp. Do you know what I mean? And then off to Vegas to my proper one and to finish off and back home now. Just dotting about the gyms in the northeast, like SPG, South Shields, TFT, and my own gym and Twins boxing gym. Just getting ready to go and fight in London.
I was going to touch on that later, but now you've mentioned it, we might as well talk about it now. Of course, SPG South Shields under Alex Enland, TFT, Andrew Fisher's gym, in Twins boxing with Jordan Williams. What's it like now for you to, I guess, from when you started to now, look at just the ample amount of gyms there is for you to go and train at and really hone your skills in?
Yeah, it's great. It's great, especially all Northeast based, all good guys who I knew outside before they even had their own gyms type thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's it's nice to keep things nice and local and get the work when I need it instead of making the long trips to Manchester and stuff like that, which was brilliant at the time. I had a great team and that, but it was hard on the body. You know, the training was fantastic, but the travel that killed me. And so yeah, it's good, mate.
Like we said, I know we were chatting there a little bit off camera there. It's your first time back on a UFC card since 2016 in London. How crazy is that for you, and how nice is it to be back on home soil?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's the London crowds of late have been absolutely electric. So to get to go and perform in my home country to those guys is just going to be fantastic. And I get to get all my friends and family to come and watch me as well, which it's been a while.
If we look at the bout then itself, Daniel Marcos, look, the UFC have done you no favours here. A 14-0 prospect coming up through the ranks. What do you sort of make of Daniel as a competitor?
I mean, he's obviously legit. He's never been beat, and he comes for it. You know, he's definitely going to be there for the fight, and more of a stand-up guy. Makes for an exciting fight. You know, anytime you put me in there with anyone in the division, I feel like it's going to be an exciting fight anyway. But I feel like he's really going to bring it, and yeah, it's going to be fireworks once we want to get it on down there.
And is there any, I guess, frustration on your end that you've come back. Look at what you've done since your last time in London, if you like. The repertoire you've built, the names you've fought. That may be, and absolutely with no disrespect to Marcos here, but that's not maybe a slightly bigger name or somebody that maybe the UK fans could really be like, Jesus, Davey Grant's fighting this guy.
Yeah. I mean, I understand he's like not well heard of, but like you know what it's like in this game, Jake. Everyone brings something to the table, you know. And like I'm just happy to get a fight. And don't get us wrong, it'd be nice to go and start ticking off some names out of the top 15, and things like that, and looking for those sort of more high profile guys. But a fight's a fight, and I'm really more bothered about activity than names. You know, like I just want to get in there as often as I can and have as many fights as I can before like I end up retiring. You know, so yeah, as long as I'm active and getting to fight in London, honest, that's good enough for me, man.
That activity, I know I spoke to Mick Parkin last week and he'd said he spoke to you and you were like, God, like, I've not fought in the UK for so long. So really treasure, of course, is going to be his promotional debut in London. You told him, like, really treasure that and make sure, you know, he takes it in for what it is because you will be on the road, like yourself, Russia, the US. It's been crazy, even Fight Island for you. But
yeah.
Is there any extra pressure now then, I guess, being back home and that, you know, now your friends and your family are going to be there?
I mean, I don't know. There will be. I'm not really feeling it, you know. Like a fight's a fight, you know. But like once you get in there and the cage door's locked, it's just tunnel vision anyway. So it doesn't matter where I am, you know, whether I've got the home support, whether I'm the bad guy or whatever, or whether it's just in the apex and there's hardly anyone there. You know, it's the same thing. I've got a job to do, and like pressure's just like sort of uncontrollable, isn't it? You know, like there's no point in letting it get to me. You know, I've just got to get in there, perform for 3 fights, and that's the job.
What was that experience like? You just mentioned it there, the Apex. What was that like being in there when there was next to nobody in there?
I didn't mind, honestly. Like, I really didn't. I found it intimate. Like, you could hear the corners, you could hear the shots landing, the commentary, and things like that. It was a little bit different. But like I say, I get tunnel vision once I'm in there. You know, it doesn't matter where I am. I've got a task to focus on. So it doesn't matter whether there's 100 people there or 100,000. You know, I'm going to do the same thing.
Now, you're one of probably, if not the most experienced active fighter in the Northeast at the minute. But this card's going to be the first time for a long time that you're not the only lad out of the Northeast fighting on this card. Of course, we mentioned there Mick Parkin is going to be making his promotional debut. We've got George Hardwick as well fighting on the Contender Series later on this year. How nice is it for you to see this next set of lads coming up through and getting their chance at the promotion you're at?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they deserve the shots. They've got and it's nice to go and see that, like the Northeast. Like we sort of always get forgot about, don't we? In everything, do you know what I mean? It's like people say it's like the arse end of Britain. Do you know what I mean? Like, and there's just so much talent here, and it's nice to be finally able for the guys to get to showcase the skills on the bigger promotions and stuff.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's going to be within a few days. A 14-year of you making your pro debut as to when you get the Octagon at UFC London.
Wow, is that how long it's been? Is it?
Yeah, if you go back and I guess reflect on your career, just how proud are you or how well you've done?
I mean, yeah, honest, I love it, and I still want to see how deep the rabbit hole goes. You know, like it's been an absolute roller coaster of a journey. And I mean, God, I've been in the UFC for like the last 10 years now. And I just learned my way of fighting in the UFC. And once over, you know, when I fought in Russia, and I was coming off 2 losses, I had 2 bad losses, and I was coming in Russia, and I thought, look, no, worst comes to worst, I get beat here. I've still had a good career, and like I'd still been proud. I'd have probably got released off the UFC, managed to win the fight, and then even then, I'd have been proud of my career. And then since then, it's been absolute like tenfold better, you know. So yeah, honestly, I'm so grateful and so lucky to have been able to live the life that I've lived and the experiences I've had. And honestly, I'll never ever take it for granted.
I know when we last spoke or Jim at SBG Bishop Auckland, you'd sort of said, "Look, I'm not getting any younger, but we'll wait and see what happens." Where are you at then with that? Is this another one where it's another run to the title and see how far you get? Or what I guess is your, let's say, 5-year plan?
I mean, look, ideally, I go and knock everyone out. You know what I mean? Then win the title doing it. Yeah, but and I'm just gonna have fun on the way. You know, like I'm at a position now where I feel like I'm literally three, maybe four knockouts, or even just good performances away from a title shot. You know, like I know I can hang with the best guys. You know, I've fought a few people in the top 15 or top five or whatever, and like and I feel like I can go and test my skills, and I'm a hard fight for any single man in the division. So I'm just gonna keep trying to work up the ladder, keep being in exciting fights, keep making money and fighting for as long as I can.
What's your drive then with that to keep going? Because we look at a lot of, let's say we go back really early doors, NEVT, the guys that were around there, and then you're, I think now the only active fighter still coming out of there. What for you is that drive to still keep going and still really pursue that gold?
I mean, I just got no else to do. No, I think it's just like, look, I had, you know what it's been like with my career. I was a bit bad luck with injuries and stuff like that, and still feel like I've got a lot of things to do, a lot of things to prove, and I still feel like I can hang with the best. I've always said, look, once I feel like I'm getting worse, it's maybe time to start thinking about retiring. But in all honesty, look, I'm fighting out, like I'm making a good wage off it, and like if I can still get the big wages and I can still hang with with the best guys in the world, I'll keep fighting. And I love it, you know, like there's nothing else I'd rather be doing with my life. So yeah, it's just it's literally everything I want to do.
I know we spoke, I guess, about the next group of lads coming up there just previously, but even prior to that, I know you're now involved with Made for the Cage and the Positive Steps, the promotion that they're doing. Can you sort of tell us a bit about that and why you decided to get involved and why it's important to you?
Yeah, I just think like I mean, when they approached me, it was and they told me sort of the vision, and I understand what they were about. It was the same sort of thing I was into, and it was like just trying to promote martial arts to like to help better people's lives. You know, it's the amount of things it does for people for like for all walks of life. You know, like just like their health benefits, just being able to protect your family, or just like keeping people like I don't know, in on the weekend and off the drink or whatever. You know, staying fit and healthy. It really does have a fantastic impact on people's lives, and I love that about it. So it would just yeah, it just seemed like a win-win.
I know as well that I know Jay definitely is, or any of your other children now involved in sort of training and looking to potentially fight or.
Yeah, so like Jay, obviously he's still training away. He still loves his football. When Nate started playing football, he's still training MMA. He's had a few Thai boxing fights. He hasn't had any MMA fights yet. And Heidi, she's like, oh, she's only 5, but she comes to the kickboxing classes and stuff, and she gets involved. You know what I mean? It's great to just like to be able to have the kids at the gym, like whether they want to fight or not. It's entirely up to them. You know, I'd probably rather they didn't, to be all honest. But yeah, I get more nervous for them a hell of a lot more than what I do for myself. But I just like them staying active, and it's nice that I've got a job where I can take my kids to work. I love that. I love that I can just be in the gym coaching. The kids can be there and be doing anything, and like or coaching the classes and being part of like that sort of side of their journey.
How hard's that then for you? Look, we know one look at your social media, you're a massive family man.
Yeah.
How hard is it for you? Like you say there, it's been a 12-week camp. You've been in Thailand, you've been in the US. How hard is that to then be away from your family for this?
I mean, yeah, it's not nice, you know. Like it's definitely not. But like they know what's at stake, and like luckily I got a fantastic support network with my wife. I feel like it's probably harder for her than what it is for me. You know, I'm off trotting the world, training in all these hot countries and stuff, and she's at home sorting out the kids, sorting out the gym, like been getting a house extension and everything at the minute. You know, I was like, so she gets it a lot worse than me. I feel like I'm just obviously, but we know what it is, and she's 100% by my side. She always has been. So like, this is yeah, this is the dream, and as much as it's hard being away, it's yeah, it's just as hard for her like getting left at home.
Yeah. And look, last couple of days, because thank you so much for your time. I know obviously it's getting on a bit as well, so thank you so much. But yeah, what can fans expect then if for they've been living under a rock and they've not seen your Davey Grant performance?
Yeah.
What can they expect from you come July 22nd? And can I get a prediction off you?
I mean, look, I'm not really one for predictions, but I know it's no secret I'm going in there and try and knock them out. You know, like I'm coming out swinging, and that's going to be the same every single fight. But I'll take the way whatever way it comes. You know, but yeah, it's going to be absolute fireworks.
Ferdinand Davey, I know in a previous life you were a DJ. What was your DJ name?
It was DJ Davey G when I used to DJ.
Right, so if you get a big win, what's the chance of a back-to-back DJ DVG, DJ Mikey B, you and Michael Biswick getting on these decks again? One last time.
We've talked about this before, and me and Mike actually, and yeah, I'd love to get up to the northeast and do a little bounce set for everyone. That'd be fantastic.
Perfect. Look, Davey, thank you so much for your time and all the best next weekend, mate. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks very much. Appreciate that, Jake.